With resin printing, the term ABS-like gets thrown around a lot. And honestly, it's a bit aspirational. That's a marketing term for borderline lies, right? Most of the time, ABS-like just means not quite as brittle as glass.
Not very good.
And sometimes even that's generous. But I think someone's finally made a resin that actually does behave like ABS. The same properties and everything.
Looks kind of like tar.
And because it can be resin printed, it might beat ABS plastic at its own game. So naturally, I'm going to check it out and make some stuff with it. Here it is. It's Tough 2000 resin version 2 by Formlabs. It doesn't say ABS like on the bottle, but that's what they're going for. The properties match. It's very cool. It only comes in black, it looks like tar, and it is very thick. So first, what's the deal with ABS anyway? ABS is a thermoplastic used in injection molding and a lot of 3D printing, FDM printing. It's fairly cheap, it can handle some heat, it's strong, it's rigid, it has just enough flex that it's not just going to shatter into a million pieces as soon as it's stressed. And if you pick up a rigid plastic object that's meant to be, handled and used around the house, fair shot it's ABS. Not entirely, but pretty good chance. Resin prints, in contrast, tend to fall somewhere on the spectrum between kind of floppy and really brittle.
It's not very good.
Huh. Seems kind of brittle, doesn't it? The big promise of ABS-like resin is that it's supposed to be far less brittle, but still kind of rigid. Okay, now here's a piece of actual ABS. Still looks okay.
That was kind of hard.
Okay, it's pretty tough. Okay, just kidding. That wasn't ABS plastic. That was Tough 2000 resin. Here it is. I'm still holding it. But if ABS actually behaves like this, I can kind of see why they use it for everything.
I know which one I think is stronger.
Plastic housings, brackets, vents, grills, there's some pipes, hard hats, kids' toys, anything that needs a bit of abuse, including, yes, the pinnacle of modern engineering, Lego. Lego blocks fit perfectly, even after years of playing. They're pretty strong, they're very precise, and anyone who's stepped on one can attest to the sharpness of the details. So, can I print some? I've tried printing Lego compatible pieces in the past. It never really works. They don't clip well together, or they break, or they don't fit properly. They lose their grip after a while. It doesn't work. But this resin's probably different.
Ha ha ha. Childhood dream unlocked.
Processing this resin is different from normal resin. Because it's so thick, it takes a little longer to wash off, especially inside the small recessed areas like underneath the bricks. It also needs a full heated cure cycle for an hour in the UV chamber. Takes a while, but once it's done, it looks surprisingly close to real Lego, minus the little bumps underneath for the support material. And it's not so colorful. It only comes in black.
Holds pretty good. Actual Lego. Yeah. Yes, they snap there. These are Lego tank tracks. Not quite as good as the Lego ones, but they are functional at least.
Looks like a success to me. I've had this resin for a couple months now, and I gotta say, one of my kids has been field testing these Legos, and they've worked great. They don't quite hold like actual Lego, but they haven't worn out or broken. They don't fall apart after all this use. They're pretty good. It's pretty solid pass. Definitely the best printed Lego bricks I've ever tried, by far. Next test, strength. My garage has these horizontal plywood things. They're called French cleats. You can look it up, they're really cool. You can hang shelves, they're really strong, you can move stuff around. So I printed these little handles for a little test. I designed these. I did no stress analysis at all. Pure seat of the pants design. Like, do I look like an engineer to you? I just tested something by hitting it with a hammer a bunch of times. And now we're going straight to human testing. And these are hollow. Pretty tough. My editor can confirm I did multiple takes of that, and they still didn't break. My arms, however, they complained a lot. So earlier I mentioned brackets. Conveniently, I actually need some.
All right, here is where I have brackets holding spools of filament, kind of like that, but all the way across. Except I don't, because the top one broke, fell, hit the bottom one, fell, hit my shelves here, and then all of that fell all on both of these old Prusas and then all over the floor, which was very fun to fix. And we're gonna hang the new versions on the wall too. Here's the new version in Tough 2000 with a little locating screw. Almost out of black. Seems to hold. What a good demonstration of why PLA doesn't work for that. All right, so I played with Lego. I have made some brackets. Well, what about some Lego brackets? Off to Blender.
Here's what I came up with. One of my kids loves playing with Lego kits and also making his own creations, and I think he deserves a display shelf, preferably up high, away from his destructive siblings. The idea here is simple. Plastic brackets that look like Lego, hold a wood shelf, and can also be decorated with Lego bricks or studs or whatever. The printer worked perfectly as usual, but we do need to talk about supports.
These are regular supports. They are... Man, those are hard to get off. It's so dense. This stuff is tough, and it's wrapped all around. I'm going to need to break out the clippers and clip them off. Or, this one has bundled supports. See, there's fewer of them, and they're in bundles. Let's see if I can get these off a little easier. This is a different setting in the slicer. Oh, look at that.
Formlabs supports that get generated in the slicer are a bit aggressive, but they also don't fail and the parts don't tend to warp. So that's nice. I went through 3 liters of this stuff in testing for this video, and I had 0 print failures. 0. Not a single one.
Still very difficult. This is really tough stuff. Yeah. Okay, well, I still need the clippers, but that's, that's not bad.
These brackets were about as large as I could get and still print on the Form 4, but I could still print a few at a time, side by side.
And tons of them. That should be enough for a shelf. That is still the coolest feature. Love that sound. Gonna need some more alcohol, I think.
I printed 6 brackets, got 2 boards. I'll cut out the woodworking part of this project because this isn't a woodworking channel, but it sure was nice getting the hand plane out and to smell Odie's oil again. I don't usually use Home Depot sponge cake pine, but sometimes expediency wins.
Okay, so I modeled in mounts for the wall. I even have some beefed up areas with countersinks, but I forgot to model in the holes for putting the board on. So I've been drilling them, and this stuff, it even drills a lot like ABS plastic. Doesn't catch and shatter. It gives you the curls like you get sometimes drilling plastic. And if this looks dangerous, don't worry. I'm a professional. When it comes to the field of drilling into my own palm, you could say I have first-hand experience.
You may notice a theme with his wall decorations. He's into spaceships and astronomy and Legos.
Man, that's a long screw. Gonna need a longer screwdriver. Pretty strong though.
Once the brackets were up and I started screwing on the shelf, it became clear I may have slightly over-engineered these.
Gonna have to fix that wall.
I'm not gonna do a pull-up on this shelf, but I have 0 doubt it's gonna hold up some Lego builds. Cars, and yes, there's a big spaceship. I told you there was a theme here. I only ran into one problem.
Rover ain't gonna fit. I think I need some bigger brackets.
I discovered another benefit to this design. Perhaps I should capitalize on that. So at the beginning, I said Tough 2000 might beat ABS at its own game. That was a bit aspirational, but I do think it wins in a few specific circumstances. First, geometry. Injection molding has its limits. Draft angles, parting line, mold complexity, undercuts, it all matters. Some shapes are difficult or expensive to mold or even impossible. Resin printing does not care, at least not nearly as much. You can print really complex internal geometry of things, weird shapes, sharp, tiny details, even single piece parts that would be difficult or impossible to injection mold all in one step. And the more complex the molded part gets, the more expensive the mold gets. But with resin printing, the same machine can print something really simple or just fiendishly complex. Here's a good example. Gaming miniatures. Yes, minis are injection molded all the time, but usually as multiple parts on a single sprue. These are single piece prints and the detail is incredible. They're only about an inch tall. You can still see details like the eye patch on this guy or his hair and his widow's peak. And unlike other resin printers, Formlabs prints don't really tend to deform so much. This printed die is pretty much a cube. When I've tried this on other printers with other resins, it tends to warp them out of square very significantly to the point you can't use them. Second, speed. Injection molding is really fast once everything's set up, but getting the mold made is not fast. It can take weeks, a month or more. With resin printing, you can finish the CAD work and have the finished part that day. That's huge if you're iterating or testing or you're making a bunch of custom parts. That's a resin printing advantage generally, not specific to this particular resin, but it matters here because this resin is actually tough enough to use as end-use parts. Or if you're prototyping, you can use the part and test the properties of ABS on the prototype very quickly. Third, cost. I know injection molded ABS parts are incredibly cheap once the mold exists, but molds are expensive. If you need 50,000 of something, injection molding probably makes more sense. But what if you need 50 or 5 or 1, or if every part's slightly different, like you're doing custom runs of things? At that point, printing the final part directly can make a lot more sense than paying for all the tooling. Some companies are already using Formlabs Tough resins, this one and some of the other ones, for end-use parts because they don't need enough of them to justify all the tooling and the cost of injection molding. Formlabs also has a print-on-demand service, so if you just need one and you have an STL file, you can actually just order the part and they'll print it and send it to you. You don't need to buy the whole ecosystem here. So the big wins are design freedom, fast turnaround, and cost when you don't need thousands and thousands of copies. Now, the cons. We should talk about the cons. First, cost. Yes, I said cost was a benefit. Compared to injection molding tooling, this is cheap. Compared to other printer resins, this is very expensive. Tough 2000, as of recording, is $149 a kilo. A lot of other tough resins, ABS-like tough resins, are like $30 a kilo. That said, I don't know any other printer resin that has the same properties as Tough 2000. So if you actually need something this rigid and durable, you can argue there's no competition out there at any price. So in my opinion, it's worth it, but only if you actually need that level of performance. Second, the ecosystem. You need a Formlabs printer, and ideally the wash and cure station also. I'm using the full setup. This is a Form 4, which I still say is the best resin printer I've ever used. Being locked into their ecosystem sounds like a con, and in some ways it is, but it's also the most reliable, well thought out system, the machines, the materials, and the software I've ever used. Hands down the best one. When the resin's this expensive, reliability really matters. Like I said before, 3 liters of this resin have gone through in this test for this video, 0 failures. And I've only had 1 print failure on anything I've ever printed on this printer since I got it. The printers are comparatively very expensive also, but like the resin, you get what you pay for. For a hobbyist, it's pretty expensive. If you're doing low volume manufacturing or you're doing custom parts or like any industrial type use, it seems a lot more like a rounding error. The price is a lot more justifiable, especially compared even to injection molding machines. Third, size. Injection molds can be made larger than any current resin printer. This Lego bracket that I made was pushing the size limit of this Form 4. They also have a Form 4L, which is this, but larger. By the way, if I ever win the lottery, that's my first purchase, a 4L. My second purchase will be a Fuse SLS printer. But as big as they make resin printers, injection molds can be far larger than any printer themselves. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'll put a link to this resin down below. I'm also going to put a link to the Form Now website, which is where you can just order prints themselves. It's like a print-on-demand service, and you can order stuff in this resin. Let me know what you would make with this stuff in a comment down below. I'm interested to hear. I have a couple ideas myself. Now, go make something. See you next time.